I'm going to take you on a journey today to a beautiful, welcoming community on the shores of Lake Victoria in rural Kenya. It's a very poor community. This is typical housing for this community. And there are no toilets, no electricity, no clean water. I journeyed to this community to learn about the education and health challenges for girls. And the biggest education challenges, they're gone. They're not in school. 80% of girls drop out before they get to high school. I remember sitting down with a superintendent of schools, the equivalent thereof in Kenya, and I said, "Where are they? What happened to all the girls?" And he looked at me and he said, "As soon as they get little titties, we marry them off." This is a community that arranges marriages for girls starting at 9, 10, 11 years old for dowries, for a few cows. And that's a way that these families can generate income from their daughters. So I was spending time in the community, I was talking to more people, trying to get more opinions on this, and I was asking someone, and he pointed to girls like this on the side of the road coming back from the lake after doing their chores, and he said, "When things go bad, the first crop you harvest are the girls." So I had a lot to learn if I wanted to work with this community. And one of the first things I really had to learn about was the importance of Lake Victoria. The lake is considered a blessing and a curse in this community. It's a blessing because it's water. It often doesn't rain for 6 months of the year there. If you want to drink, you go to the lake. If you want to bathe, you go to the lake. If you want to wash your dishes or irrigate some tomatoes, you go to the lake. It's also a source of fish, which is a really cheap and good source of protein. But the lake is also considered a curse because it helps spread HIV. And it does that through the actions of fishermen. So the men move around the lake, and this is true across all the Great Lakes in Africa, and they collect fish, and when they come to shore, they become engaged in a fish for sex transaction. Fish is the only commodity in this community, and women aren't allowed to fish. So the fishermen come to shore with a night's catch, and the women go down to the beach, and they have to make arrangements and trade sex for fish. Now the woman has fish, and she could feed her children. Or she can go down to the market and sell the fish for money. And this is one of the few ways women get into the cash economy. And with that money, she can buy shoes for her children. She can buy shoes so that she can buy medical fees when they're sick with malaria, which is very endemic in this area. And she can take care of their basic needs. And this helps drive the HIV epidemic. So the girls growing up in this community, they see their mothers involved for fish for sex and their aunts, and they want a different life. They have seen so much pain from the illnesses in this community. They want to be doctors, they want to be nurses, they want to go and educate and come back and help their community. But there's a catch. If you want to go to school, you might need a sugar daddy, someone to pay if you go to school. School is not free. So I spent one summer living at a school in the community, and one morning I woke up, and a girl had put under my door a note. And when I opened it up, it was a little piece of paper she'd ripped off from her notebook, and it said, "Should I stop having sex with the man who's paying my school fees? I'm afraid of getting AIDS." She's trying to balance these two economic choices of short-term risk and long-term risk, of dropping out early and getting married and having, early sexual debut and obstetric fistula and low birth weight babies, or getting a sugar daddy and staying in school. And she's not alone. We've done studies now, and half of all 14-year-old girls who are sexually active are having sex for money. Half. And it's really simple why they're doing this. They have only a few choices. They can, their parents might decide it's not worth paying for a girl to go to school. And if they want to go to school, they have to be entrepreneurial and find the money on their own. Or maybe they are going to school, but they start menstruating, and there's no pads. Most of them don't even have underwear to put rags in, and there's no water or anything at the school to clean yourself up, and so they have to drop out. Or they could find a friend who would pay for their sanitary pads so they can go to school and take that math test and continue their ambition. Those are the choices they're making. And they're making that choices in a community that has a 38% HIV infection rate. Education and health. You can't separate the two of them for this community. I met a girl once, she was 12 and she was in primary school and she was really smart and her teacher really wanted to support her. And she hit puberty and he decided that he would give her sanitary pads so she could stay in school if she had sex with him. And when I met her, she was 6 months pregnant with his baby. And she looked down at her belly and said, I guess I don't need pads for a while. So put this all together for a minute. Girl wants to go to school to get out of poverty. Everyone tells them, this is the way. This is the way to change your life, to change your family's life, to change your community's life. She hits adolescence. She starts to menstruate. There's no pads, no waters, no bathrooms. They stain their uniforms. They're harassed. So they stay home. And then their grades go down as soon as they hit poverty, as soon as they hit puberty. And then their parents say, your brother's grades aren't bad. Why should we invest in a girl? I knew it was a waste of money to invest in a girl. So they marry her off to someone who can afford her, and her HIV risk goes up. Or she can have sex for $3. $3 is a huge amount of money. The average income in this community is $5. So for $3, she can get anything she needs. And now she can buy pads, she can go to school, but her HIV risk goes up because she's having sex for money in order to go to school. Or we have met young women who are very entrepreneurial. They make their own products. They're non-sanitary products. The stuffing in the chairs you're sitting in is really absorbent. You can wrap it in a handkerchief and stuff it between your legs, you can take your math test. But if it's non-sanitary, and you get a vaginal infection, not even a vaginal infection, you get a kind of irritation, itching, and then you have unprotected sex, your HIV risk goes up 100-fold. Any kind of irritation, the labia. So look across that line in the middle. She wants to go to school to get out of poverty, to help herself and those around her. And she gets stuck in this web. You might have thought when I said I was taking you on a journey that I was taking you to a journey, a new place. I wanted to take you to a journey to a new way of understanding, to what it means to be a 12, 14-year-old girl stuck in this web. We there? Get a sense of this? Okay. The good news is, if you break this web, if you let that girl get educated, you help everyone. And you don't have to take my word for that. This has been one of the most well-studied facts in development and health economics. If you want healthier children, you educate a girl. Educated mothers have higher birth weight babies, they space them better, they're much more likely to survive. 4 million children are alive today because their moms finished high school. Nothing else does that, not immunization campaigns. If you want to improve the strength and economic functioning of an economy, you educate a girl. Girls invest more. It's been calculated how much the GDP of a country goes up every time a girl finishes high school. If you want to bring HIV risk down, you educate a girl. If a girl finishes high school, her lifetime HIV risk is cut in half, and nothing else has that much power. Any health or economic indicator you care about, you want to change it, you educate a girl. If you believe in human rights, you educate a girl. I am very honored to be involved with an organization called WISER, the Women's Institute for Secondary Education and Research, that was started here at Duke, that works on the health, economic, and educational opportunities for girls in rural Kenya. And we have had tremendous success working with a traditional community that has turned into a great partner. And honestly, what we have done is just found girls, kept them healthy, give them educational opportunities, really just unleash them, and they fly. These girls are powerful. Honestly, we just opened the door and got out of their way. In just a few years of starting our programs to support girls in education, the number of girls completing primary school doubled. That means no early marriages, child marriages, and pregnancies, no dropouts, fewer dropouts. In just a few years of our programs, the gender gap between boys and girls' scores on national exams was eliminated. Girls are now as successful and competitive as boys. In our secondary school program, in just a few years, we're going to graduate our first class this year, every neighboring high school has had a 30% attrition rate of girls dropping out from pregnancy. And the wiser girls, we've had 0. These girls blow us out of the water. They're certainly blowing the boys out of the water right now. So it's been a tremendous partnership with the community. We are really working to change the valuation of a girl. We worked to get a piece of land on Lake Victoria. The community helped build every part of this school, and now we have a beautiful campus. We have 120 girls in school. There has never been more than 40 girls in school in this community. Every one of those girls is the first girl to ever go to high school. They are now the most educated women in this community. And they feel their power. It has been just astonishing. Last year on International Women's Day, we had the first flash mob in that part of rural Kenya. They went down to the center of town and sang and danced. And girls who had been told to stay quiet their whole lives took to the streets and showed what they could do. And girls who had been told that they would never be as competitive as boys are beating them amazingly in academics. And girls who have been told that their whole value was a few cows in an arranged marriage now know their true worth. This has been an amazing journey for me. And I've been happy to work on this while here at Duke University as a professor. And there's a funny thing about education that, it broadens your horizons, it expands your world. But if you make a connection, a really deep personal connection, your world shrinks. You start seeing challenges as shared challenges, and you can start building partnerships for shared solutions. And that really is the most wondrous journey any of us can go on. Thank you.